Yo, how's it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Down Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Today I am joined by my co-host, Jaylen. How's it going, man?
What's up, man? A little depressed, but I'm cool.
Yeah, so today we are going to be recapping the Bears' 38-31 loss against the New England Patriots. It was a shootout of a game. I'd said earlier in the week I didn't think the Bears were going to get in a shoot-off with Tom Brady. We did not get in a shoot-off with Tom Brady. We got in a shoot-off, I think, with ourselves. We're going to overview the game. We're going to talk about the poor special teams play today. We're going to talk about some costly turnovers that the Bears made. The defense was pretty flat again in this game. But let's get right to it. First thing we're going to do is overview offense and defense. I'm going to start off by overviewing the offense in this game, and we'll talk about it a bit, and then Jaylen will overview the defense, and we'll talk about it a bit. But I'm going to start off with the offense, so I'll jump right into it right now. So, pretty decent game for Trubisky. 414 all-purpose yards, which is incredible. That was a really good stat line for him just with the yards produced. I'm not really scared about saying this. I'm pretty actually confident in saying this. I think Mitchell Trubisky's the best rushing quarterback in the league right now. He had 108 yards. He was better than any of our running backs were today. So that was incredible. He had some really good runs. He was doing a very good job of getting outside the pocket and scrambling today. Now, he was a good runner. He was not a good passer today. He had 2 interceptions. One of them was a horrible throw. One of them was a decent throw. He underthrew Anthony Miller on what would have been a touchdown if he'd thrown it a bit further in the second half. And the Patriots defender, I forget his name, like Jerron Jackson or something, I think it was, made an incrediable play on the ball, and you can't really be mad about that. You can kind of you got to tip your hat to them. So 2 interceptions on the day for Trubisky, 323 passing yards and like 108 rushing yards, something like that. Pretty good game for him. Otherwise, on the offense, Allen Robinson didn't play too much today. Trey Burton had an incredible game, 10 receptions, 126 yards, and a touchdown. He was clicking with Trubisky on all cylinders today. Cohen was also pretty good. He had a lot of all-purpose yards, as you'd normally expect out of him. Jordan Howard was decent. He had a couple decent runs. He was plowing through the New England line, and he scored a touchdown in this game. So, Jaylen, what do you think about the offensive performance today by the Bears?
Like last game, our offense didn't start off so well. We didn't start producing until the second half.
Our defense. I will say, New England's turnovers did bail us out. Our offense was good in the first half, one could say, but it was only because we got the ball in the red zone basically handed to us twice on a Cordarrelle Patterson fumble, on a kickoff return, and then on a Sony Michel fumble in the red zone or at like the 25-yard line. So our offense was set up pretty well to score touchdowns today.
Yeah, but like last week, like I said, it started off not so well last game, and it picked up in the second half. This game, it started off okay. Some of Trubisky's passes he was throwing were like questionable.
Yeah, his passes were weird today. If I can say one thing about that, Trubisky he was not too accurate today at all. I had spoken about him being a pretty good rusher. He overthrew Anthony Miller multiple times. You could say, I would say in this game the receivers weren't helping him out. There were some pretty bad missed catches, actually. I think Anthony Miller could have brought in a couple catches. Deion Sims had a horrible drop. Josh Bellamy had a horrible drop. Jordan Howard was like the only good receiver today, I feel like. Jordan Howard was pretty good actually catching the ball the couple times that we threw it to him. But Trubisky wasn't too accurate today. I know you were saying earlier, Jaylen, that you were saying that the offense came out okay. I wouldn't say that they turned on the Jets or anything at all in the second half. I would say, if we had to give a little synopsis of the first half and the second half for the offense, I would say the offense came out okay and in the first half, and then they continued to be okay throughout the second half. Just an average game. I think this offense still, though, even today, I think they played better than they played in the game against Green Bay. I think the offense today played better than they did against Seattle, and I think they played better than they did against Arizona. I think the last 3 games, even though Trubisky did have 2 turnovers in this game, these last 3 games have been better than the first 3 games for the offense, and that's tellingly true. Trubisky has 12 touchdowns, 11 of those being passing touchdowns. So it's looking pretty good. Trubisky, man, he's just got to be a bit more accurate, and the receivers have to help him out a little bit more too. Yeah, anything? Yeah. Also, he didn't have too much of a clean pocket. He was a bit more antsy this game. The last 2 games, he's had pretty good protection and had time to go through his progressions. Today, he did not have that timing of a pocket. Trey Flowers was pretty good today. Dante Hightower, who was one who actually he blocked a kick later in the game that led to a Patriots touchdown. He was pretty good today. So the pocket wasn't as clean as it had normally been for Trubisky. He was sacked like 1 or 2 times. But I'm still not mad with how the offensive line is playing, considering they were pretty bad last year. But it's hard for Trubisky when he gets all antsy. So I think for him, it's just continuing to work on not being antsy, not trying to force throws, and being a little bit more accurate. But I would definitely expect him to bounce back pretty big next week against a Jets defense that's definitely much weaker than this Patriots defense, I would say. Jaylen, if you wouldn't mind, or is there anything else you want to say about the offense before we move on?
That Tampa Bay game definitely imploded Trubisky's confidence to throw the ball downfield.
Totally. He was missing his receivers downfield today, though.
All the 12 games in his rookie year, he barely threw the ball downfield. And
yeah, today he was hitting Burton downfield a ton.
In the Green Bay game, in the Seattle game,
in the Arizona
game, he never threw the ball downfield. He was basically like Alex Smith type of quarterback through the first 2 games. You know, he was a game manager. And after that Tampa Bay game, he's confident to throw the ball downfield, and I like to see that. Last game with Miami, he was throwing the ball downfield to Taylor Gabriel and was connecting like they had a very good connection. This game, he was also not very he
wasn't accurate this game though. Yeah, the difference between this game and I'd say the last 2 games is he was throwing it downfield. He was not that accurate. He was accurate to Burton in the middle of the field, but when he tried to stretch it to the outsides, he was not too good. Obviously, on that last play of the game, he had a Hail Mary to Kevin White, and Kevin White actually caught it for a 64-yard reception. He could have gotten 1 more yard to get in, and people are like, "Oh, dang it! That's why the Bears lost the game." The Bears didn't lose the game because of that. That was an incredible catch, and too bad it didn't work out. Hail Marys are almost impossible to pull off, but if I had to blame this game on a specific phase of the team, I would blame it on the special teams. Allowed 2 touchdowns, a Cordarrelle Patterson 95-yard kick return, and then a blocked punt where the blocking on that punt was just horrible. Return for a touchdown by Kyle Van Noy. So I would say that the Bears, Tom Brady didn't beat the Bears today. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns, he had an interception, we had a good pick on him where we brought a blitz in on him. We can start talking about the defense now. But we had a good pick on Brady where we brought a blitz and he was forced to do a bad pass and we kind of tipped it up in the air and Fuller picked it. Fuller's been playing incredible. 3 interceptions in 2 games for him. He's definitely solidifying his spot as the number 1 cornerback after getting criticism for the first couple weeks, especially after that Green Bay not picking that one off for the win. But I would like to say one thing about this defense, and then I'll give it over to you, Jaylen. Playing Khalil Mack was not a good idea today. We were dropping him and Leonard Floyd, 2 guys who should be rushing on the opposite sides of the line. They both weren't rushed today. Fangio was throwing them into coverage, trying to get interceptions, playing a lot of his own, dropping these guys who should be rushing into coverage. So not the greatest day for the defense. Jaylen, if you'd like to take it over and just talk about the defense overall today.
It wasn't the best defense ever.
I think it was a slight. I wouldn't say it was much better than Miami.
The defense, yeah, the defense plays terrible when it matters. In the final possession before we got the ball back before the Hail Mary, we were letting Tom Brady drive.
Not Tom Brady drive. Not even Tom Brady drive. It was James White just running the ball down our throats.
Yeah, and like what made me mad is you could clearly see James White coming out the backfield, and you knew he was going. Tom Brady was going to throw the ball, and they could not stop it. I don't understand that, and I don't understand why would you put.
Yeah, it's really you just
outside linebacker who was supposed to rush the quarterback on a 5'9" shifty running back. Didn't make any sense.
Yeah, when you look at it, I would say today defense was not good. I think Vic Fangio's definitely got to step it up in these next 2 weeks. We're playing 2 very young quarterbacks. We've got Sam Darnold, who has literally, I'm going to show it with my hand, he has gone up, down, up, down, up, down in every game. He has thrown like 4 touchdowns against the Lions week 1 and had like 3 interceptions in 2 different games. So, and then you got Josh Allen, who has just been, God knows what's happening with him. Actually, I don't know. Josh Allen might not play. We might have Derek Anderson or Nathan Peterman.
Anderson, yeah.
Yeah, we might not have. That'll be a week where Josh Allen might be coming back from whatever injury I forgot he had against Houston last week.
It's an elbow.
Yeah, he I know they were saying a couple weeks ago he was going to miss 1 or 2 weeks. So we're going to have either Josh Allen or someone else who's not the greatest. Those are games where the defense is going to have to step up. Do I expect them to step up? I would 100% fully expect them to step up. I expect Fangio to step up and not drop these guys who should be rushing into coverage. So, pretty bad defensive game overall. Let's talk a little bit about special teams. I think they lost us. I think they
like garbage.
Yeah, I think they didn't play too well. All I would like to say is I would probably, if I had to attribute this loss to anyone in specific, I would definitely attribute it to the special teams. Also, one more thing about the defense before we move on to offensive and defensive MVPs. Tackling wasn't the greatest either today. You can't really blame the Heat for that this time. Tackling was mediocre at best. All right. Yeah.
Especially on that Aaron Gordon 54-yard drive, that tackling was pitiful.
Yeah, totally. So, next, moving into offensive and defensive MVPs. I'll start it off on the offense, Jaylen. I'm going to give my MVP award to Trey Burton this week. I think it's pretty clear that he wins that. 126 yards on 10 catches and a touchdown. He was great. I think he was worth every penny. He's been pretty reliable this season, whether it be on shovel passes. He's also been a great blocker. And he showed today that he can be productive in the passing game as well. So I was actually really happy about his performance today.
Yeah, that's a unanimous decision.
Okay, so you give it to him as well.
It's clearly Trey Burton. We can give it to Trubisky's legs if we wanted to.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I was about to say Trubisky's running game. He was also really good scrambling today, so I was pretty happy.
But Trey Burton, he stepped up big when we needed to. He scored our touchdown to bring us to 7. Down 7. Had over 10 catches, 126 yards, like you said. He had a pretty good game. You know, this is his breakout game, even though he's played good in all the games. You know, this is the most yards he had as a Bear. And, I can't wait to see what the relationship that him and Trubisky develop as Trubisky gets better as a quarterback.
Totally. Let's talk about the defense. I'm going to give my defensive MVP to Bilal Nichols.
Yeah.
Well, I know someone else you can give it to. If you want to give it to Nichols too, I can give another honorable mention. But Nichols was really good today. We got him in the 5th round, and Ryan Pace continues to prove that he can select really good talent later in the draft. I see Nichols honestly staying as a starter for a while. When you look at our D-line, I think 3 guys that'll be there for a while are going to be Bilal Nichols, Eddie Goldman, and Akeem Hicks. It seems like they're building a pretty special bond, and moving forward, if I'm Vic Fangio and I'm looking at this defense after 2 very pitiful weeks, I'm bringing more pressure, and I'm definitely putting Nichols in there to be able to do it because he's been pretty good at not only getting to the quarterback, but he's also been a great run stuffer as well. So he's my MVP on defense for this week.
I'm gonna go with him too, but MVP that I can also see if it's not Bilal Nichols because he did have a big game. I guess you can go with Kyle Fuller.
Yeah, that was going to be my honorable mention. He had
a big pick, has some great pass deflections. Like you said, he's stepping up from being talked about. No, that's not a pick. Jesus Lord. From being not so great, from dropping a pick, to being blown coverage in against Geronimo Allison. So yeah, he's stepping up.
And Tyler Lockett too. He wasn't good against Tyler Lockett. He wasn't good against Christian Kirk. So it's nice to see him finally stepping up, and he had a lot of pass deflections today. I was pretty happy for Kyle Fuller. So next, we're gonna move into what was the deciding factor of this game for the Bears. We're each gonna say deciding factor or what we thought decided the game. Okay, yeah. I'll go first. I'm gonna say the deciding factor was just not being well on special teams. Just as a whole, the special teams was just terrible today. I can't really. I mean, it's hard to blame it on the special teams, but allowing 14 points on special teams, as well as the turnovers by Trubisky, playing the Patriots and having Tom Brady be the one that having Tom Brady not beat you. Tom Brady didn't beat the Bears today. The Bears shot themselves in the foot, and I'd say the Bears beat themselves in this game. So I'm going to attribute the loss and the deciding factor to the sloppy special teams play today.
I couldn't agree more. Our special teams gave up 14 points that we really didn't need at that time. That block punt was extremely terrible. We were tied up 21-28 when that happened, and if Pat O'Donnell had great blocking, who knew it could have maybe went into the one, or we could have got a pick on that drive, to go up. But no, we got a block punt. And that kick return, that was just.
I think you got to clap your hands for Patterson. He had an incredible juke on that play. He's always been known as a pretty good kick returner, so I kind of got to tip my hat to him on that as well. Thinking about it, but there were missed tackles just all over the field today.
My football coach always told me on kickoff that stay in your lane. They didn't stay in their lane at all. They were trying to force another fumble like they did the
one before that. Yeah.
We made him fumble and got the ball back and scored on that drive. So I think they were trying to do that. And you need some in the NFL. A play can happen so quick you won't notice it. So that kickoff was terrible.
Yeah. We got 2 more segments to go. Next, we're going to head into who stepped up. We're each picking one Bears player on offense, one on defense who stepped up. There's a lot of green tonight because it seems like there's not a lot of differential. There's not a lot of players that picked up. There's not a lot of players that stepped up and stuff. So I'm going to go first on offense. I'm going to say Trubisky's legs stepped up. I think he's clearly top 5, if not number 1, the best scrambling quarterback in the league. I will say he gets antsy and he tries to force throw sometimes. You could say all you want, but when he gets outside the pocket, he's not really one to run out of bounds, which might not be the greatest thing. He absorbs some hits sometimes, but he extends plays with his legs, and he clearly did that today. 108 rushing yards. That's never something I would expect him to do. He had 414 all-purpose yards. Now you can say he might have had 350. Take away that Hail Mary to Kevin White, but if he didn't have those 2 interceptions, we'd be talking about another good game he had. And to me, it was only 1 interception, 1 really good play by the New England defender. So even though he wasn't that great in the passing game, I think he stepped up rushing, and he was pretty decent passing today. But his legs were good today on offense.
Yeah, that run was crazy.
Yeah, that one. I thought he had a touchdown on that too.
It reminded me of that Tariq Cohen play last year against the 49ers where he kept running backwards until he ran forward and scored a touchdown, and he accumulated like 180 total yards. That run was so huge, and it was only an 8-yard run. So that was a huge play in the game that put us up 17-10. I mean, not 17-10. 10-7. But a person who stepped up on offense, Trey Burton.
Okay,
I guess you can say he technically stepped up. He hasn't had over 100 yards yet, but he's still
career highs in receptions and reception yards for him today.
Yeah, a major. I mean, he's still been a big factor in our offense. So I'm gonna just say he stepped up because this is the first time he ever had over 100 yards.
I would also say another one that stepped up. Honorable mention would be Tariq Cohen. He's been stepping up lately, and it's great to see him playing well.
If Kevin White would have got that.
Yeah, Kevin White is also someone who stepped up. He had a nice first down catch on the drive where Trubisky threw the interception. No. He had a first down catch on the drive where Trubisky had the touchdown to Trey Burton. So that was big. And then obviously I would have said he probably would have been my offensive MVP if he scored that touchdown, but it's okay.
He would have made up for all the games he didn't.
I mean, that's honestly like Kevin White's career as a Bear summed up in one play.
Yeah.
Defensive player who stepped up. I would go Bilal Nichols again, but I really can't. I'm going to go Roquan Smith. He had a good sack today. That's really all I can say. But he hasn't really been bad as of lately. I mean, he had some troubles today covering the speedy James White out of the backfield. But he's been doing a pretty good job and I think he was a pretty good draft pick. So I'm going to say he stepped up on defense. Roquan Smith.
The person who stepped up the most. This is not even a person. It was the Sun. The Sun stepped up the most. The Sun almost caused us to get that Julian Edelman fumble. When he bobbled it, but I don't know how he somehow managed to get it back when Sherrick McManus and Josh Bellamy were in the area. It was 2-1, and we were gonna get the ball on the 3-yard line, all because of the Sun. But that I'm gonna say that was our defensive player of the game because nobody else other than Bilal Nichols played great on defense, unless your name is Kyle Fuller. But
yeah,
Steve, he got burned on that Josh Gordon play.
Totally. Finally, we're going to talk about just some things we think generally that the Bears need to improve on. I'm going to talk directly to Trubisky here. Trubisky, first off, you got to demand that Kevin White get some more snaps. Kevin White hasn't been horrible. He hasn't been good, but Josh Bellamy definitely, I would say, is someone who I think should see less playing time on the field. And also, Trubisky's just got to work on once again not being antsy. I expect him to bounce back next week against the New York Jets. I think he'll be good. I think he'll hopefully be good to go. And also, I think he just needs to work on his accuracy. He hasn't really been underthrowing receivers much. He underthrew him today, the Anthony Miller throw. But he's been overthrowing receivers, I think, a lot. So just personally for him, I think he's just got to work on his accuracy and not being so antsy in the pocket and keep being able to scramble and get out of and extend plays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anything you think we need to improve on going into next week?
The fourth quarter defense is something that we have to step up on. Last week, and this week they were showing a little stat how the fourth quarter is the quarter we allow the most points on defense, and I feel like that should be the quarter we allow the least amount of points. Even though in our 3 games that we've won, Tampa scored a touchdown in the fourth. Seattle scored multiple touchdowns in the fourth.
Twice. Arizona, did they score in the fourth? I don't know if Arizona did. No,
they didn't score in the fourth.
But Green Bay obviously scored the fourth as well. And Miami.
Yeah.
So,
Miami
I agree.
And Green Bay. So
you think just closing out the games?
Yeah, of course.
The defense has to be more consistent as a whole, I'd say. I mean, they had those first really good, swaggerful, I'd say, 4 weeks, and they might not be incredible, but they got to get back to playing pretty good, I would say, if we want to have a chance.
I'm just extremely happy that we're causing turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to win the next 3 games, man. We got the Jets, and then we got the Bills, and then we got the Lions at home. I think there's the 3 games we got to win. 6-3 would put us in a pretty good spot to hopefully get 9 games, considering we've got. Here, let me pull up our schedule if I can for a second. So
the games that I know that we have to win
are Jets in Buffalo, and then at San Francisco,
yeah.
and at New York Giants. Looking at the New York Giants right now. So we could honestly, looking at the rest of our schedule, we've got Jets, which should be a win, at Buffalo, which should be a win, and hopefully honestly versus Lions should be a win.
We have to win in the division though. That's
totally.
All that matters.
Yeah. So if we can win the next 3 games, get to 6-3, that would be awesome. And then we'll be going into versus Vikings at home, which is going to be a tough one, at Detroit, which is always a tough one. God knows what will happen there. But the games we absolutely have to win, I would say, are versus Jets, at Buffalo, versus Lions, at New York Giants, and at San Francisco. Those are 5 wins. That'll put us at 8 wins. And then we can hopefully just win 1 or 2 other games, get to 9 or 10 even wins. And
we can pull one versus the Vikings. Hopefully we tie with the Green Bay Packers at home. We're a completely different team at home.
Totally. Yeah, well, that'll do it for this episode of the Bear Bone Podcast. If you guys did enjoy it and stayed this entire time, we've been recording for about 25 minutes. Make sure to smack a like on it and subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram. Yeah, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Bear Down, and you can find our personal fan pages. I'm Chris. He's Jaylen. You can find our personal fan pages in the description. Make sure you follow those on Instagram. But yeah, that'll pretty much do it. Our New York Jets coverage will start next week. We might get some NFL predictions up. We never know if we're going to do those on a week-to-week basis. We've been so bad with those. But I will say it is the second half of the season now. We are going to start. I haven't told you this yet, Jaylen, but we are going to start hopefully some sort of mailbag some sort of mailbag segment where we answer you guys' question about the Bears. Those will be posted on Friday. So the first episode of that will be on Friday against the Jets. And yeah, that'll pretty much do it. We'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure to follow us on our social media. You already know. Like and subscribe. That's it. See you in the next one. Peace out, Chicago.
Since my